Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 133. This podcast is about anything and everything related to Destiny the game. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, your hosts prepare for the long-awaited return of Crimson Days. We talk about upcoming changes to Nightfalls and our experiences from Destiny 1, and we give our feedback on current and upcoming changes to raids in Destiny 2. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and of course, CyborgSasquatch. Hi, dude.
I always feel so welcome when you say welcome.
Hi. Welcome. Hello and welcome. How's it going, man?
I need my house to say that. I want a smart house, and when people like ring the doorbell or they come in, it just be like you. Hello and welcome.
Welcome. Dude, we have Google and Alexa in the house, and I've found myself now when I ask them to do something, I started to say thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, there's a really funny video, and it's like, I don't know what it was from. It might have been SNL or something, and it was like Southern Alexa or something, or Alexa for Southerners, and it has the Alexa, and it's like wrapped up in paisley cheesecloth, and it speaks with like with a Southern accent like this,
it's super polite,
and so the kids are talking to it, and they're like, Alexa, blah, tell me the answer to this, and the Alexa's like, excuse me, little missy, what do we say? And she says, Alexa, please, can you tell me?
That's great.
It's like teaching them manners. It was
you
really
have to send
funny.
me that.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah, I really have found myself. I did say thank you. I asked for the weather one day, and I think I always say she. I think she responded, but I can't remember for sure. I just found myself saying thank you now. It's it's one of them things.
That's the nice thing to say. I mean, we should really have manners for our future AI overlords. Let's be honest.
Let's just go ahead and get. I mean, we might as well get there.
It's like the classic. Be nice to the really scary mean guy, or the quiet crazy guy at the office, because he might leave you out when he shoots everybody up.
Mm-hmm. Where's my stapler?
Yeah, exactly. So we got to be nice to the AIs for when they pretty much run our entire lives. They'll think of us and have pity.
Let's just go ahead and start the pleasant thank yous.
So thanks, Alexa, for listening.
And Google.
No, be quiet, Alexa. She actually is listening.
Oh. The light is on.
Yeah, the light came on. I gotta stop saying that. She who shall not be named is now code for Alexa. Well, how's it going, man? You have a good week?
Yeah, dude, it's going good. Everything's good on the Arrow front. Pretty exciting week, actually. 30 Seconds to Mars released another single, and then I just got notified by Spotify yesterday that Dashboard Confessional came out with a new album. So I love when technology tells me things that's
pretty cool.
I didn't realize, I gotta
catch up on those.
Anyways, yeah, we're big Spotifyers. So thank you, technology, for telling me something that I wanted to know but didn't know.
It's all about getting you to buy something.
Right? Yeah. That's okay though. That's what I love about Spotify. The $14.99 a month is a little steep, but you know what? Being able to sit in your car and stream any song at any moment. It's
nice because we use that through all of our house and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The whole family uses it. It's really not bad for $15.
Yeah.
I don't buy music,
Exactly. Yeah, I know it's funny because there's only certain bands that I do. Like I'll buy the vinyl and stuff. And actually, 30 Seconds to Mars just started their pre-sale today, and they're here locally around us on July 9th. And my wife was like, we were like, yes, all right, we're going. We haven't seen them in a few years. And she was like, wait, isn't that when you go to Florida? And I was like, no.
Oh, no.
And then I looked, and it's the following weekend, so we're okay.
That's good.
We're okay.
That's
Guardian
good.
Con is the following weekend. Anyways, how are you, man?
I'm doing well.
How are things?
I'm doing well. we brought up Alexa and home automation, and as soon as I got that in my house, now it makes me want to have a smart house because of all the features and the voice activation. It's like started pricing out, locks and cameras. They have the Amazon camera now that you can put in your home that connects to everything. I was talking to my dad about it, and it's so cool because home like automation and stuff now has kind of been brought to a point where it's accessible to anyone. It used to be when it was not even new, but just like coming out, you had to get a company to come in and like you had to have all this special equipment and they had to wire it together. And you're talking about a ton of money, right? But now just the average consumer can just buy pieces that they want, and you can have something like Alexa to control it all. It's kind of cool that anybody can do that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, one thing it's done for us, our family, we love music, and whether we're eating dinner, just chilling in the living room, doing dishes, just doing some stuff in the evening, we will, play music, man. And we all just kind of end up dancing around the living room at some point. It's pretty awesome, because otherwise it would just be quiet.
Right. No, well, it's the same thing in my home. Like we wouldn't really turn on music around the house, not because we wouldn't, but just just wasn't the first thing that came to mind. Now it's, my son just like wants to hear a song. He just goes and yells at Alexa, and, we end up listening to music all day. It's kind of cool. Yep.
It's like the top 10 request list in our living room every night.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, anyways, so those are things.
It's a Destiny podcast, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to get on track here. I guess we better start the show.
Maybe. All right, guys. Destiny.
Yes. One quick announcement. This past weekend, we took part in the Saint 14 Project stream, which was a 12-hour stream on Twitch to help raise awareness for mental health. And it also supported an organization called Take This. And so we did a block for an hour, and we had some Derp Fam members come on. Big shout out to Blonde Bell. Big shout out to MD Sailor. Both those members came by and talked about their personal stories with mental health, and I think it was really awesome. It was really powerful to hear their stories and what they've overcome. So got to give a shout out to them for helping out, and then also to everybody that contributed, both by just showing up to support the stream, hosting the stream, telling people about it, and also for donating to Take This. I think we raised like $260 during our stream, which was awesome. Yeah. It helped get them to their $1,000 goal. I think they broke that. I think they ended up raising like $1,100. So thanks to everybody. Just wanted to say that we had a really good time, and I think it was a really important cause, and we're glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, man. I've heard some great stories since the stream this weekend of just people hearing others' stories and being moved by them, and just a really good cause. And shout out to you, man, and the Derp Fam. Thanks for taking that block, dude. It's really cool.
Absolutely. I had a good time. But yeah, so that's all the announcements this week. Nothing else big happening around the Derp Fam house. So let's talk about some news. We got some great news this week.
Yeah, we did.
I'm really excited to talk about.
Twab.
Yeah, I guess we could start out with This Week at Bungie, even though that wasn't the first bit of news, but we always do. So this week at Bungie, they're decorating the world for the big dance. Sadie Sawkins dance in my khaki pants. Remember that song? Ow, ow, ow.
Break into song.
Crimson Days is coming back to Destiny 2 as promised. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's coming this reset. Of course, the day that you hear this, if you're listening on Tuesday the 13th, Crimson Days will be live. I wanted to say Crimson Doubles, but they're not calling it that anymore.
It's just, nope.
They call
it's got to be a holiday.
Yeah.
It's got to be a holiday.
Lord Saladin rolled out. They mentioned, we heard some good things about Iron Banner in Season 2. If you're still holding tokens, you can use them the next time the ritual returns. If you still need to punch some Guardians to get that chest ornament, you can also continue your progress when Lord Saladin returns. Next, they talk about some upcoming changes to Nightfalls. With a really interesting new quote to add to the lore. Ulan Tan is a warlock that's been brought up many times in Destiny 1 lore. The quote being, "Do you see the stars flutter? Now listen, they scream from the lacerations of our enemies. The balance has been threatened. Nightfall is upon us. This burden of light has never been heavier. We can sleep no more." I just find it interesting that they wrote a quote for this.
Yeah, that is.
So they talked about the development roadmap. They promised changes coming to Nightfall Strikes, and game director Chris Barrett came on to talk about what their ideas for what Nightfall should be. He mentions it should be a challenging test that only the bravest Guardians dare face. I remember in Destiny 1, the Nightfall being like one of the, like starting out like vanilla Destiny 1. It's one of the hardest things in the game. I remember that being like our center of our reset, like getting the Nightfall done, like at first, so everybody was under-leveled, underpowered.
Yeah.
But the rewards were so important.
Yeah, like even into it a bit. It lasted a while that was your reset. Like that, the first thing I did was run 3 Nightfalls.
Yep.
And just sitting here talking to you about it, like, why was that? What was it? The exotics?
It was the exotics.
They were just so potent.
I think you. I know that her.
Because remember the strange coins.
I'm trying to remember. Like, strange coins. You had a guaranteed.
We got
drop
to a point where we didn't
heroic,
need any more strange coins, but
wasn't it a guaranteed certain number of coins for the heroic? I want to say like 7 or 9. Mm-hmm. So you had to do all this stuff to keep up with the economy, but the Nightfall gave you opportunities at those exotic drops that were really hard to come by. There wasn't.
And it was almost big, like pretty big guaranteed exotic drop. Because I still remember it's how I got my Hawkmoon, it's how I got my Galahorn. And people were still chasing stuff like just the opportunity to get a roll to try to get the Galahorn or to try to get Icebreaker or something was a big deal because exotic drops were so rare. Just the drop, like just the roll on it was rare. Right. Yep.
Anyways, we're going too back into.
Well, yeah, no, it's an interesting conversation because it's like if we were dropped into that world now, what would the community say? Would they say drops are too infrequent? Would they say this is amazing? Would they say, you know what I mean? Like, what's the difference now? And it's, I mean, a lot of people are going to say the potency feeling of the different weapons, which is why they've said they're going to do an exotic pass that's coming before too long. But anyways, just an interesting topic to trail on.
Yeah. So to finish what he's saying, I guess I'll just read this whole quote. Fire teams of any size should be able to participate, from organized clan groups to skilled solo players. Players should be able to determine their own challenge level by going slow and steady or fast and wild, with elective modifiers to test the most hardcore veterans. Your final score will separate the best from the rest, and with high risk comes high reward. Each terrible villain that players face should have a very rare and powerful unique item, themed to them, that tumbles to the ground as they collapse into a pile of bones. Conquering Nightfall should be a badge of honor, with the best players able to show off their achievements with new dynamic emblems and exclusive auras. That's the vision of where we want to take Nightfall. You'll be seeing the first of this direction in the next patch, with more being added over time. I love it. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
It sounds fun.
I agree.
It sounds interesting. I'd run more Nightfalls on that.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked designer John Favaro and senior design lead Tyson Green to share some facts on how they plan to enhance Nightfall Strikes. So, they mentioned Nightfall, especially in Prestige, was intended to be a venue in which improvements to the sandbox matter more. But the controversial time limit mechanic is a simple pass-fail mechanism. It turns a lot of people off Nightfall because it's difficult and indexes performance solely on speed. So, they're setting up Nightfall scoring to enable you to do something prestigious in the weekly Nightfall and as a way to amplify difficulty. So here's the new rules. Intentions. Reward you for engaging and defeating enemies instead of running past them. Makes sense?
Big one.
Avoid overemphasizing specific mechanics like precision kills that highlight certain areas of the sandbox or punish other areas so that players are the ones who determine the most effective meta. I think that's an interesting lesson that they learned from past scoring. Don't you think? Rewards you for taking on greater challenges up to the limits of your own capabilities, and rewards you for doing the above quickly and over the course of a short run versus long slogs over several hours. So the updated mechanics look like this. Scoring is team-based. Scoring is primarily driven by kills and secondarily by orb generation. Score bleeds over time. They've mentioned they're watching this closely. Score decay can feel bad. This achieves that in the most transparent fashion, but a team that clears faster than another team should score higher. Scoring cuts off after time thresholds. I think this is really important after the Prison of Elders scoring.
Right.
Where the only way to win that competition was basically to sit there for like 8 hours cheesing stuff.
Yeah, and like assist points.
Yeah.
And stuff.
So this is really smart. So it says after 15 minutes, new points earned are reduced by 50%. At 18 minutes, you stop earning new points, and it's a race to finish the run and push your score. So I think they've really, this is what's great, is where they do get to build on their past experience. Mm-hmm. Thank God that they are. I'm just saying, like,
definitely.
This is an example where they've iterated and they get to build things in with culmination of knowledge of how to do something well. And I'm really excited to see this implemented and to play it. I think this is going to make Nightfall just a fun experience. It's got a lot more depth to it outside of just a normal strike. Like running strikes in Destiny, just period, is a very core part of the game, I would argue. Like it's what everybody has done and does, no matter what type of player you are, you run strikes and everybody loves them. They're very unique to Destiny. And so the ability to like not only take the Nightfall, which should be like one of the hardest things in the game, but to make it unique and give it a way to compete. Like I want to do that. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been thinking about strikes a lot lately. I've mentioned on the show the past many episodes that I've been running a lot of strikes solo and stuff. And I'm still having a blast with them. I'm grinding that power level and it's strikes are just the equivalent of like a rift in Diablo. I mean,
it's
ultimately
a dungeon, right?
we want the loot incentive to be there, to always be there, but it really is. It's just an instance of a dungeon, and you're grinding through it and wanting that reward at the end.
Well, so, the fact that there's going to be the
harder version,
the unique strike-specific loot just to Nightfall bosses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's cool. That's really
huge,
cool.
Yeah,
like
it's a big deal.
I mean, there were items, in the Rise of Iron era of D1 where they had the strike-specific loot and. For months, like I was still trying to get specific stuff and I would really enjoy, finally getting that item, but even grinding to get it felt good. It felt rewarding when you got it. So I think that's going to add another layer of reward to the Nightfalls where, okay, I have all the exotics, but if there are cool and unique, interesting items, that I can get to show off or will do something interesting. Like I will go run the Nightfall on all my characters.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing they didn't mention, you just reminded me, something I thought about this week is a while back they mentioned that they were looking at like prestige raid, prestige activities and tying masterworks to them. Didn't they? Like in one of their bullet points?
I think
but
so.
They don't mention anywhere in here like a guaranteed masterwork or anything. So I'm curious to see, even with like the strike specific, Nightfall specific loot and stuff like that, it would really, I think, add a layer to it if you were guaranteed a piece of masterwork armor, even though, you might break it down and only be a few cores, it still would be nice to know if you got that end game level of gear, I don't know, just anything you could do to add to the, the reward pool of such activity,
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, the next thing they mention are challenge cards, which are items that offer ways to boost the challenge in exchange for score multipliers. In 1.1.3, there will be a challenge card that drops from completing a Nightfall run. It has some customization options to help tune the challenge level to what you and your fire team are capable of. So it looks like you get to pick what challenges you take on, which is pretty cool. Like, so one of them, it shows a picture, and one of the options is solar damage increases slightly from all sources. So it almost lets you, add your own modifier if chosen to make it a little bit more difficult. And then it shows the score multiplier, for example, 2.15 times. So pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. Yeah, I think one of them too is, I don't remember if was it called Extinguish? It's old school where you go back to orbit.
Yeah.
If you die.
Yeah, that old school.
So that's old school.
Original OG Nightfall.
Yep. That was just the way it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So next they talk about rewards. There's going to be an emblem or a few Nightfall emblems that will allow you to see your scores. These emblems are now the source of auras, which are automatically enabled if your personal score is above a global threshold. At first, the thresholds will be set based on what we think might be tough for players to reach, but then we look forward to showing you how much we underestimated you. Then we can raise the bar based on community scores. So that's a cool way to change the aura. I mean, right now you just get those from completing Prestige Nightfall or Prestige Raid, I believe. I think you get the aura in Trials. Yeah. And but you don't see them very often. It's rare, which I think is fine, but this will, I guess, provide a more roundabout way to get it,
Yeah.
You also get a fire team wide buff that boosts Vanguard token drops by 25% in that strike with the aura.
Very cool. Yeah, of course, instant criticism was the reward is an emblem, really. But, are they clear in here that, so you get the emblem and it is the source of the aura. Is that from then on you can apply that aura because you have that emblem? Or is that, you know what I mean? Because one of the emblem's names in here is, because one of the emblem's name is actually the inverted spire. So you obviously get the emblem, but can you only apply the aura each time?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the other thing is the Nightfall challenge. You get it after completing the Nightfall. So then you can apply it and continue to grind the Nightfall for the week, I guess. And then at reset, the challenge card goes away.
I would
That's
assume.
another question I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few questions. And then as well, like if they're moving auras to this type of system, what happens with the Prestige level Nightfall? And with all this change, what happens with the Prestige Nightfall? Are they even going to keep it? It almost seems pointless if you can do your own challenges and add difficulty, as well as removing timers. So they don't really talk about that, but I guess we'll have to see. I mean, it'll come. They mention the first pass on this feature comes with 1.1.3. They're going to be looking for feedback on how this will work and asking for help. He says, pushing the limits and finding where it breaks. Future updates will react to your input as well as add more rewards and recognition of posting competitive scores. And then they talk about the Nightfall modifiers a little bit, which they're looking to do. Their goal is to allow players to modify their experiences to provide them the challenge they want and incentivize more methodical progression through the activities. And doing so by killing everything, not just running past enemies. So, you mentioned they list a few. There's Extinguish, which fire team wipes return the team to orbit. There's Void Solar and Arc Singe, which provides 25% increase to player and enemy damage of the corresponding element. And then there's Power Modifier, voluntarily decrease your power to gain a score bonus. That one's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
So he says, these are just our initial modifier offerings. This release is focusing more on how the system as a whole feels so we can get feedback on the core experience to fine tune it before we dive in headfirst to creating additional modifiers. So seems all in all like
very promising
Nightfall
stuff.
Beta 2.0.
Yeah, right. I know it, and it's like,
but there's a lot. There's a lot to introduce.
It is. And it's great that they're talking about it in the swap.
I love this. Cool. I love that they are pushing these systems and ideas forward, and this is the kind of depth that we wanted when Destiny 2 released, that they ultimately weren't able to do. But
I couldn't help but think, that's exactly right. It's like, you don't want to keep saying that, but it really is. It's things that we thought we were getting, certain version 2s of everything we've had for the last several years. And, I can't help but think when I saw this Nightfall Challenge card, I don't want it to, I guess it really is a win-win for us. Even if it's something for right now, it is great because it like you said, it's adding depth to the Nightfall. It's great. I can't help but get the feeling from it that it's like a version of Destiny 1. How can we fix this right now? And then when Destiny 3 comes out, we might scrap it entirely. You know what I mean?
I hope
not. I know, but you know what I mean? Like put a better system in place from the start of the launch of the third iteration of the game. You know what I mean? Like this very much feels like Destiny 1 Year 2. They're trying to implement something to make something have more depth. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to take a negative look at it. It's a great thing. It's just, I really want certain systems in the game to become concrete, like the Nightfall, how they implement it and how they add these type of layers, not many months later they throw in a Nightfall challenge card and this is how we're going to do this.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I understand.
You know what I mean?
It's the fact is for Destiny 2, they've stated that they wanted to break some bones, their wordage, to make changes that would be hard to do without, creating a new game client, so to speak. And you did that, but you missed so many opportunities in the process. Like you could have broken, how Nightfall works, and they did to an extent, but they didn't give it any depth. And so it's like, it makes you wonder if they just had another year to put out the dang game because they got so far behind or whatever happened, where we could be. But ultimately, I think what's interesting about the life cycle of Destiny has been that they've put out these games that have a core to them, and in some ways they're deep and in some ways they're limited, but it's tough to imagine if they just say had another year for every game, if they would be able to get to this place without the community's data and feedback and constant moaning,
Right.
It's not that I don't think that they can come up with these things, because obviously they do, but the fact that a lot of people are able to voice like specific things they want out of activities they enjoy, it's almost like we're all along for the ride, and Bungie's developing as they go. And is there a way for them to get games to that place without it being live? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's, you've mentioned before, and I totally agree. Like, I don't want Bungie, when Destiny 3 comes around the turn for them to just scrap everything and start over again. Because I think that it shows that they can't get the game to a place where we want it without this kind of iteration and back and forth and feedback and success and failure. You know, you can't get those kind of failures in the studio in a test environment. Like, you can make sure things work and your testers can give you feedback like, oh, I like this part of the raid, or I like this activity. But until people play it for months, how can they know what's going to rise, you know, what's going to be the cream and what's not? You know, I don't know if you can. I really don't know. I think almost after so many years, it shows that this is the way things have to go. And so that's why I hope, like you've said, that they just build the game out and make it better and keep the stuff that works. It just bring on oodles of new content and iterate on systems and provide more and more and build it and just add depth. Don't feel like you got to break everything and scrap it and start over. I don't think that there's
figure out a
value
development cycle to where you're not developing a couple years behind your current installment.
Yeah.
As far as systems go. And you know, it's like, you know, like I said, I don't want to feel like I'm complaining just to complain. They're implementing things here that we're asking for, and I'm extremely excited. I'm as excited as you are about the depth we're going to get with the Nightfall. It just, you know, it's, I hope, like you said, we can get to a place where we're not doing this months after to add depth to certain activities, when, you know, certain systems can be in place from the start. But like you said, this is a great example. I mean, this is just what they've talked about with the Nightfall. They're adding so many layers to this one activity. I can't wait till it kind of bleeds out to strike playlists and things like that. You know? It's going to be really cool. And I hope, you know, they're learning, like you said, you know, with Destiny 2 and implementing this stuff. And I think many of these things will have staying power, and you know, maybe we'll see Nightfall challenge card equivalent in, you know, the third iteration of the game. So
it's like strike scoring is a thing that they added that should have never went away in the first place. It almost it was so good, it almost seemed like a no-brainer that it would have stuck around in perpetuity, because it added so much depth to strikes in general, you know, and it made them more fun and gave more purpose to playing them and playing them in different ways. The fact that it went away, it's like, guys, why are you going backwards? You know?
Right. And there were many systems people felt that way about.
Yeah.
You know?
There's stuff that worked that it's like, wow, this is core. Like, this shouldn't go anywhere. And they were rolled backwards. Like, I don't know. Anyways, we can just talk about that all day. And
it's you know,
not to harp
it's just
on it.
important.
This is total feedback, so that we can explain what we think works in the game and what we want to see continue to happen that will make the game playable and fun for us.
It's an important topic, you know, and I'm sure they're talking about it inside the studio to figure out a development cycle they can get on to where they can keep building on the experience. And, you know, it's important feedback to provide them even when they're implementing amazing things like this. And it's important for us to keep providing feedback. If we like the Nightfall challenge card, then we say, we don't want this to go anywhere. This is amazing. And it's all about getting the game to a place where we want it to be, them and us, as fast as we can, whether that's on launch day or a few months after launch or 2 years after launch. In the case of Destiny 1 with some things, you know, it's about getting the game to that place as fast as possible, for both parties interested, you know? Surely. Yep.
Now,
anyways, this is cool stuff.
Yeah. Next up, they tackle something that a lot of people were curious about when they put out the development roadmap, and that was plans for the Eater of Worlds Prestige mode. A lot of people were shocked to see that push back until May. And so they tackle this question head on. What they say, you may have even asked, what is taking them so long? It's a fair question. The answer is that we didn't want to release it in its current form. Before rolling it out, we thought we could add some more flavor to this special activity that will make it worth the wait. Here to tell you more about our plans for raid activities is senior designer Joe Blackburn. So he mentions they wanted to release raid content on a more regular cadence than the first years of Destiny. In our original estimation of this work, he says, we knew we would have to focus on normal modes, foregoing Lair challenge modes, and having their prestige modes rely on enemies that are more lethal and harder to kill. So he mentions as they got closer to releasing prestige, they wanted to do more. And he says, over the past few months, we've been prototyping a new way of adding difficulty and replayability to raid activities. Today, I'm happy to announce that we've decided to push this feature forward and release it for all the Leviathan raid content with the release of Expansion 2. Going forward, all raids will have a normal mode active at all times, and each week, one raid or raid lair will have a curated loadout mode. This new version of Prestige requires players to complete raids filled with deadly enemies using a curated loadout of weapons and a special modifier that enhances the way you play. The raid team never likes to let you know exactly what to expect, so let's look at some hypothetical examples. So, week 1, example, Eater of Worlds, marksman modifier, precision damage is increased. Landing a precision shot grants 1 ammo directly to magazine, required loadout. Hand cannon, scout rifle, linear fusion. I'm just thinking about this possibility and how tough it's going to be to do DPS with.
Yeah.
I mean, those might work.
I know. I when I saw this section of the TWAB, I couldn't wait to talk to you about it with your raid experience.
Playing this week with some of the new perks active on raid gear, it almost doesn't matter anymore, believe it or not. But moving on. So they list a couple more examples, one with melee damage increase and melee kills grant bonus super, which the loadout would be sidearm, SMG, and shotguns all up close. So can you imagine doing DPS on something with just close quarters stuff?
Yeah.
But this is for the expansion 2 raid lair. Now these are just examples. Obviously they're going to have to curate these and make them a certain way, but it certainly sounds interesting and challenging. And what I find fascinating about the system is the fact that not only are you going to have to be really good at the raid just to tackle this stuff, but you can't just learn to do it one way and just have it licked. Like you're always going to have a challenge with this, you know? Like having to change your play style because
get you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, out of these modifiers and stuff. And that I think will really provide people that enjoy this type of activity and these challenges with a lot more interesting experiences than, you know, in the past, especially in Destiny 1. Like once you got hard mode down, like that's all you ran, but it was just the same every week, you know?
Right.
And this is different. This is I'm not totally sold.
That's my question. Do you like it? You're the raid machine.
I'm intrigued. I would really want to see it implemented and play it, but I'm definitely interested.
It is definitely a way, you know, many ways I'm sure they discussed. This is definitely a way to vary it up every week and get people out of their comfort zone, get them to play the activity completely different.
Yeah.
You know, some may look at it as they're forcing them to play a certain way, but really it's a way to vary it up and get you to try some of those guns in your vault and then try something different. You know, instead of, I mean, we see these YouTubers all the time, especially with D1, you know, making up their own rules.
Oh, yeah.
I remember No Land Beyond only Crota runs, or, you know, just crazy stuff that Datto did and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I almost wonder if that's some of the inspiration for these ideas is, you know, seeing players in Destiny 1 go tackle content with, you know, sidearms only, kill, this boss, or just crazy stuff. Well, they have to be thinking, well, what if we just, what if we create the challenge and add a modifier, make it in the game, make it interesting. Like, people could get into that. So I think this is cool. So they mentioned this is slotted on the roadmap for May, but this is a major overhaul and could be pushed out further. We'll keep you updated. A lot of info here.
Cool stuff. There is. You know what? We can't gloss over the fact that once again, and they just keep doing it, they are backing up that statement back in mid to end of November that they were going to open up conversation and communicate with us. And they are just continuing to do so. And it's fantastic. I mean, this TWAB is about as meaty as it gets,
Yep.
So, moving on.
Yep. Next up, they have a change to the Lost Sector chest. They mention the previous system, to prevent players from cheesing the old chest for rewards. So senior designer Alex Valicki came to talk about what's coming next. They say in the 1.1.2.1 hotfix, we fixed the underlying issue that caused the Lost Sector chest exploit. So now you can only open the boss chest once after killing the boss as intended. The chest may still come back, but you'll get a code required prompt unless the boss responds and you defeat them again. We've completely removed the reward throttle from Lost Sectors, as it is no longer necessary, and we agree it was a poor player experience. So, thank goodness that will be solved. So you don't have to worry about those lockouts, especially during faction rallies, which is when a lot of people actually do Lost Sectors.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tuesday, February 13th, we get the hotfix 1.1.2.1 that will address timeouts on Lost Sector chests. So that would be this reset, and it's going to start from 8 a.m. Pacific till 12 p.m. Pacific. After that, Crimson Days will become available to all Destiny 2 players. So let's talk about Crimson Days.
Let's do it.
Crimson
I'm excited.
Days begins on Tuesday, February 13th. At the heart of the week-long event is a 2v2 Crucible playlist intended to get your blood pumping as you and a friend test your bonds to the breaking point. Will last 1 week. Combat scenario is 2v2 clash with a round-based twist.
Yes.
We'll also be debuting the Burnout, a new take on the Burning Shrine set in a future timeline where the Vex have succeeded in altering our reality. The sun is darkened, and the only light to be found comes from you and your partner fighting as one.
2v2, round-based twist.
You're interested,
Burning Shrine remake.
You're so...
Oh, dude. I'm like so pumped.
Sounds really fun.
So excited. This is another thing where, having doubles in the game and Rumble and, I've heard, the community this week, they're excited 2v2's coming back. And I almost wish the event was for 2 weeks because I cannot
I know. A lot of people have mentioned already. They're like, man, only 1 week. Like, this sucks. We want to do this longer.
Yeah.
I think the original Crimson Days, though, only came for a week as well.
I think you're right. Yeah. I remember talking to you about that way back. I can't remember if we fit in I
don't think we got to play together, but I was sad because it was only a week.
Yeah, right?
So it was fun.
Man, you know what? They can bring back as many Destiny 1 maps as they want. I am totally cool with it. Even if they want to call them something else and do whatever, I am pumped. Burning Shrine came up so much in Trials, but a map's great. We used to joke about it when it would come up every weekend, but I love this map. As much as we've played it, I love this map. And I'm pumped to jump in here and just look around at the differences and just play it again. Yeah. It sounds fun.
I'm sure it'll look great.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned, in addition to that mechanic, they're adding something new where if you stray too far from your teammate, your abilities don't recharge at the fast rate, and also your enemies get a waypoint to your location. So they really incentivize sticking by your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Should be pretty cool.
It's cool. Yeah, very cool.
Here's the best thing, man. The rewards.
They've been listening.
Totally turning a 180. doing everything we've asked for with rewards here. They've tuned the experience to focus on rewarding single character play. I'm assuming that they mean like for each of your characters or just playing on one. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that. They said most rewards are found within a new Crimson engram with all contents on a knockout list, preventing you from receiving duplicate items until you've earned all the gear. Not only that, but you get illuminated engrams and Crimson engrams when they level up. That's the only way you can get them. You don't buy them. They're not capped. They're not limited. You just have to reach a level cap for your Guardian. That's 25 if you're at expansion 1.
Or 20 if you don't have the expansion.
Yes. And then they show off a preview of some of the stuff. We've got some exotic ornaments. We got some ghost shells. We got some sparrows. We got a few emotes, which are always desired. We've got shaders. We've got spawn effects. And yes. They
basically incentivize you to experience the event in certain ways, which is cool. Mm-hmm. You can just play some matches, and you get the exotic sparrow. You can complete the raid or raid lair, and you get the Wardcliff coil ornament. Mm-hmm. There's a milestone, finishing 5 Crimson Day matches. You get the emblem and the ghost shell. So, it's like, and again, sorry, the Nightfall Strike, you get the dance emote. So
did you see this emote, which one it is?
Yeah.
All of my single ladies.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Hilarious. So it's great. It's like they're incentivizing you to play certain activities, but at the same time, they're going to shower you with rewards just for coming back to the game or continuing to play the game during this event. You get you get double engrams, right?
Yeah.
Each time you level up, you get a
illuminated and a
crimson. Yeah. So basically, it's how you want to feel all the time, but definitely when there's an event going on in Destiny, you want to just be showered with presents.
For sure. And this is a lot more congruent with how you see special events in other games, where you just, you level up or you rank up and you get, event type packages, just through gameplay, which makes total sense. Tess will sell some selection of Crimson engram contents for Bright Dust. Those items also count towards the knockout list mechanic, preventing duplicates. You can also, for every reward item that you obtain, you can dismantle for Bright Dust. This is a big deal right here, okay? Because they really upset people in the Dawning with how they set up the Dawning stuff. The free gifts you would get only gave you like legendary marks or whatever, which, is fine, but whatever. But they're essentially, through gameplay, you're getting in-game currency with getting these items. So you're basically getting free Bright Dust. Okay.
Right.
They're definitely opening up the generosity. I'm not saying like, let's all pat them on the back, but it's definitely a peace offering, I think.
Right.
Like they're saying like, here, like, let us be a little more generous. Like, let us throw a bone to the players. Like, I don't think that needs to be downplayed. It's a big turn in the right direction.
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, I had the same thoughts. I was like, well, wait, I don't have any Bright Dust. How am I going to get it? And then, read that, and I think you're right. While, we've had many conversations about Eververse, and it's difficult for some to praise too quickly. You can't gloss over this either. This is a big change pretty fast, and they told us it was coming with Crimson Days. So this is an important milestone in the life cycle of just Destiny 2 here.
Yeah, I agree.
Very much so.
So I'm super excited for Crimson Days, not only because I loved this mode in Destiny 1, but also because they totally took a turn for the better on the reward system. this stuff is
You
cool.
just wanna
And
dive
I'm not
in.
like,
You
oh,
wanna
what
jump
those
in.
rewards so bad, but just the fact that I'll get some new unique stuff and I'm not being hit at every turn to spend money makes me feel so much better about participating.
You just want to jump in,
Yeah.
you know, and we can't, you know, we talked about the map, but I'm assuming this will be like other maps that have been implemented after the event. It'll just go into the rotation of the normal playlist, hopefully.
We'll see. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. I won't assume, but if that is the case, then we get a map out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I won't assume that there's a chance that it will go away, but hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. I heard somebody this week say, can we just get a playlist with just the Burnout, aka Burning Shrine? Just that's all it is. Over and over again. 2v2 Burning Shrine. And I'm like, I would be fine with that. A lot of people probably wouldn't be, but I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to play it. Maybe I wouldn't be after match like 20.
Probably not.
But I can't wait. I can't wait to jump in.
Yeah. I'm excited. This makes me feel great about booting Destiny up this reset. I thought I would be a lot more excited for like Iron Banner and different stuff last week, and it just, even though there were some ornaments and stuff, like it just didn't pull me in as much. But this, I think, is gonna give me something fun to do this week. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like the layers of I even tweeted out like I did kind of feel the excitement a little bit in the community when Iron Banner hit, because they made some very nice, implemented some changes that were coming.
Yeah,
without
I know
Iron
a lot
Banner,
of people
but
we're having a great
yeah.
time.
But you know, it's going to take some events and some different things. You know, each Guardian is different, and I agree. You know, this is another step. I think this event is definitely going in the right direction. So it's looking good, man. The road ahead is looking good.
We had a couple other pieces of news. Tell us about these changes to the Bungie.net forums.
Yeah, DMG tweeted out, I guess it's been over a week now, about a week. They made some changes to the Bungie.net forum to where basically you can't post feedback or about Destiny 2 unless you actually have it and are playing it. Obviously, they can tell that from your profile.
Yeah.
Now, that's, you know what, I think a lot of people are on board with that. You know, if you want to provide feedback about a game, it probably is nice if you have played it. Right. Now, I can't confirm this, but I think some of the feedback they were getting about it is they had forums where people chatted about other games, and those have been there for a really long time, like Halo days.
I think they mentioned you can access those.
Okay, and it's not effective.
Yeah, it's certain threads that actually have to do with the game. Okay. You're limited to only, you know, I guess posting on those if you have played the game. I think you just have to have been to the farm, basically, okay. Which isn't much. Yeah. So that it's a very low, you know, gateway cost there. But I think they did mention the other non-Destiny 2 related threads and forums and stuff you can still access.
Very nice. Yeah. I like this change.
I think it's smart. I mean, if the goal
they've got to filter through all that.
If the goal is to clean up the forums, I mean, let's just be like frank and honest here. The Bungie.net forums can be a scary place to go. Okay. Like it just is what it is.
That's putting it lightly.
So if that's what they're trying to do, try to make it more palatable, more constructive, I guess, less trash posts, and I don't know. It's smart. I don't have anything else to say about it besides, hey, good job. Good idea. One thing we almost glossed over, there was a Activision earnings call this past week. They had a few notes about Destiny 2's performance. It was their second highest selling game last year. There was, as they put it, positive sentiment and high levels of engagement for the first couple of months. After that, we have definitely seen real sentiment issues in a couple of areas. We wanted to make less of a grind and give players more paths to get the best rewards. That allowed core players to consume content faster than anticipated. Ain't that always the story? They mention sentiment is beginning to shift. They do confirm there's a new DLC coming in May and their term major expansion in the fall. That's great news there. And they look at it as a great opportunity to win back the community. That was the major stuff that they heard. They also talked about their, that's worth mentioning, their microtransaction revenue from last year, which was $7 billion and was more than their game sales. Now, people have brought up a great point. I believe half of it was from, what is the, they own that developer that does like, I think Candy Crush and all that, like King something, which is totally monetized on microtransactions totally. So that makes sense. So you got to cut that number in half. But still you've got like 3 billion in microtransactions that just came through console games last year, which is just crazy, man.
Yeah, that's insane.
Case in point, they ain't going anywhere. When
Right.
Bungie's making more money Activision
Yes.
is making more money on microtransactions than actually selling games. Yeah, they're going to stick around.
It's not going anywhere.
Not at all. Tell us about this article you found, man.
Yeah, they I actually got to give a shout out to our buddy Houndish, who will hopefully be on the show here very soon. There's an article, the Osiris voice actor. There was some interesting little tidbits in there. They asked him, and this was on this is on gamesfragger.com.
Guy's name is Oded Fair.
You know what? And I didn't even realize, you know what movie I instantly think of when I see him?
What's that?
The Mummy.
Yeah, he was in The Mummy.
Yeah, dude. I didn't even realize.
I think about
had not put
Resident
that
Evil
together.
when I see him. Because you guys don't have his picture in front of you. I believe the guy's Jewish, but he looks Middle Eastern or Eastern European and has a nice tan on him. And he was that guy in Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen that one.
Yep. I had not put that together. It's I've even went and watched the videos of the just to make sure I'm not missing anybody of the actual faces to the voice actors, and obviously we know many, but again these sneak up on you. But anyways, they asked him what is next, what he's working on, and this or that, and he said there is a project that he's working on that they're not talking about. And he references it being a TV project. Now he does say they're planning to bring Osiris back into the game. But the reference, to this, the point of this TV project, they don't, he wasn't clear if this was related to Osiris.
Here's where it's kind of like speculatable is the way that this paragraph is structured, right? He says, well, there is a project that I'm working on. They've asked us not to say anything about it at the moment. It's not a voiceover. It's a TV project. I think they're planning on bringing Osiris back, and I'm excited to come back for it. Those sentences back to back make you think, wait, are you alluding to a Destiny TV project?
Right.
And then I looked back through the article. Here's the thing. The entire article was transposed by like somebody with a junior high level education. Okay. There's no comment. Like obviously this was a voice interview that someone transposed. There's no punctuation. There's huge long run on sentences. There's usually when you see these written, there's somebody that's really good at taking the spoken word and putting it in a format that allows you to see like a comma when somebody pauses, a change in paragraph when they're talking about something different. So the guy probably said it like this. Yeah, they've asked us not to say anything about it, but it's not a voiceover, it's a TV project. But I think they are planning on bringing Osiris. But see, he's like changing. Almost, what he was probably doing was he was changing gears to talk back about Osiris.
Exactly.
And he's talking about his acting career before that. You know what I mean?
Right.
They did such a terrible job.
Right. Yeah. When I reread it, to me, he is confirming that Osiris is coming back to Destiny 2 at some point, and that the TV project is something totally separate that may not even include Osiris, right?
I would eat a shoe if he was talking about a TV project for Destiny.
Right, exactly.
I think it's so unrealistic.
Mm-hmm. It is nice to hear, though. Hopefully, there's some merit to the separate comment of they're planning to bring Osiris back.
No, that's great. I mean that's awesome. I mean, and they set that up, right? They had him not go anywhere. Like, he's still around, and I think that's great that we will get to see him return, and he already knows that's in mind. So that's great. I mean, he was a cool character. I want the Osiris character to get.
He's such a cool character.
Some more track, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just barely touched the surface of this guy, anyways. So yeah, but that was interesting. So, you know, Osiris come back someday, somehow, just like they said about, you know, the Awoken Queen. In so many words that she'll come back one day.
Everybody wants her to come back.
To see Marisov, but maybe one day.
One day, Cyborg.
But that's all the news this week. It only took us an hour to tell you about it. How was your reset, man?
No wonder reset is so short these days.
I know.
There's just so much news to talk about.
They are giving us a lot to talk about.
Slow times. Yeah. My reset, man, it's been great. I've just been still grinding that power level, doing my milestones, running some strikes. We talked about Iron Banner a little bit. We recorded early last time. I'd only played a match, but I did play some more Iron Banner. I got my full set. That was just my main goal because I didn't get all of it to drop the last Iron Banner we had. So got my whole set, been infusing it this week so I can just throw it on and be a decent power level. Man, I tell you what, grinding the milestones, I've hit 334, and I've been soloing it, you know, like I've mentioned quite a bit. So it's nice to be able to grind that power level without having to go to the lighthouse or, jump in the raid lair, even though I do agree, you know, there is some merit to having to do those things to achieve certain things, but it is nice to be able to solo some things and still make some progress. But dude, I told you before we recorded tonight that I've been like creating my own little mini games inside of the game. I've been working on builds. I all of a sudden just gave myself this goal. I want to be able to just swap out sets depending on what I want to do. So I've just been infusing certain things, throwing mods in certain things. I've been spending some time at the gunsmith, just making little mini games for myself,
customizing
stuff into certain weapons. Yeah,
making builds.
So, you know what? Yeah, it's fun. You know, I've got my Void Titan bubble builds or just my Sentinel build. I've been goofing around with the. I was running Sate 14 for a while, but I've been goofing around with that Mask of the Quiet One. That's got some interesting perks on it.
That's fun to play with.
Yeah. So that, and then, you know, I've got a full set I've been infusing to just swap to my Striker when I want to jump in the Crucible. And then the last thing I'm going to do is do some sort of hammer build. But, you know, it creates fun. It's fun stuff to do.
Ultimately, you're playing the end game as it exists, you know.
Right,
and,
as it is now.
I can't wait until, you know, mod 2.0 and, you know, now we have Masterwork armor, Masterwork weapons, like all these great things that they're going to add depth to will make what you're talking about, you know, a lot more.
That much more substantial.
Yeah. I mean, it'll give it some real legs.
Right.
Because, I mean, that stuff is fun. That's where you get to when you kind of start to max your gear out. Then you can make, you know, builds for certain stuff. Like I have different builds for different classes and activities kind of sort of in my head of what I put on. And, you know, I put certain mods on certain gear that I just wear for stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I can't wait until they add more to it. Definitely. It's going to give a lot more playability.
Yeah. It just the, like you said, the Masterworks alone, I actually only have, okay, so that week I said I got like 6 Masterworks to drop. That was amazing. Yeah, that was like 3 weeks ago. I've only gotten like 2 since then.
The well has run dry, my friend.
Yes, I'm waiting for it to rotate back around in my favor because I've only infused 1 piece of armor, and it's it keeps that drive there, but it's like, man, come on, I'm turning in these milestones. Give me that masterwork. So it's like I need some cores. I got my builds. Like I need to. Luckily with armor, it only costs 5.
It's a little cheaper.
But anyways, I mean, I'm having a good time with that stuff. I'll fit in a little bit of Monster Hunter. I'm still,
dude. Monster Hunter is set the world on fire right now. A lot of the derp fams playing. A lot of my friends. And I'm like, everybody's like, man, why aren't you going to play? I'm like, dude, I can't get sucked into that, bro. Like,
dude, I tell you what it is for me is I am so still so far at the beginning of that game, but I love, and I did not expect it with this game. You can solo the entire game.
Yeah.
So I've watched a lot of YouTubers and, covering it. There's a lot right now, and many of them have said if you can solo the main story, just play through it because it takes a while, and just play through it, beat the monsters, and then you get to high rank and that kind of stuff, and the grind really starts. And I just didn't expect it with the game, and it's really cool to go to like the main hub. It's very easy to feel overwhelmed. There's so many vendors, so many things to look at, so many things to figure out. There's bounties, there's this, that, all that stuff. And it's like the tower. And then you go out on an expedition where you just explore and you have like a quest that you need to complete, or you can have very specific quests where you're going to track a certain monster. But it's so fun, especially like those expeditions. You just go out and explore. I mean, you're the ghost hunter in Destiny. You just explore, dude, and you pick up flowers and you craft, you mine, and you're just looking around. Then you see this big monster come around the corner, and you're like, oh crap, I'm gonna hide in this bush until he's gone because there's absolutely no way I can fight him. And just to be able to kind of get lost in the world. It's really fun to play solo right now. Now I will say I definitely can see the appeal when you team up with 3 friends and you go take on like an elder dragon or something. And I'm looking forward to that down the road, but I'm really having fun just kind of figuring out the game myself right now. And it's just nice that the game is welcoming to do that, on your own accord and solo without having to party up.
That's cool.
So, I don't know. It's a huge game, man. So and they keep adding this stuff to Destiny. I'm right there with you. Like, I don't even know if it's possible with the time we have to play each week to manage 2 games like this. Right. It's just, I mean, at this point, I'm playing 2 or 3 nights a week, maybe for a few hours. I'm just not playing as much right now. So to even think about, it's exactly what you're saying, to even think about trying to balance Destiny, especially how it's going to unfold over the next many months with Monster Hunter. I need to be a full-time streamer, man. I don't know.
Seriously.
It's like you can't pressure yourself. It's got to be one of those things where you just, when you have time to play, you just play.
Yeah.
Don't put the limits on yourself. Yeah. Anyways, what are you playing, dude? What else are you playing?
Yeah, so I got a raid in this week on the raid Lair. Ooh, got an invite from some of the derp fam and went and ran a raid with some cool dudes. And it was a lot of fun to try out the new raid perks. They definitely add some fun and some unique elements to the raids, just on that one. So you'll love this. We did 6 Sunbreaker Titans. Like, we loaded in, we're just looking around, we're like, wait, everybody's a Titan? Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So Sunbreaker already has a perk set that's really great for the raid layer that allows some good DPS with your super. And there is a perk on the class item. And these are cool because you can select the element of your class and change it. Just basically you put 1 coin in to equip or change these perks. And so it gives you 25% more damage from your power, from your abilities, whatever they are. Which is pretty significant. when you add that up. And it actually made the DPS portion on the boss a lot more straightforward. Typically in my past raids, it was really important that you charge your additional craniums to get the extra DPS out of them, and we did not do that at all in this clear. We just optimized our abilities and used them to our advantage, and it made a really big difference. So it made it kind of fun. And yeah, it was cool.
We're talking about.
Yeah. It was really cool to have those. And I got a couple more. I got both the chest and the helmet out of the 2 chests that I got to pick up. So already that improvement to the rewards was noticeable. Joe got the
Ghost?
The ghost.
Oh man, that's what I wanted to know.
Couldn't believe it. He's like, guys, I got it. I got the thing. And he busted it out. And everyone was like, holy cow, man. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool that somebody got it. But had a really good time. Had a great time playing it. I think
those are the moments you remember from Destiny 1, man.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my friend who I had been grinding Templar to get Fatebringer. And we took one of my in real life buddies through his first Vault of Glass run, and he got it on his first run. And it's the moment where you're like happy for them, and then you're also like not happy. You know, for you not getting it, but it's like, hey, man, that's great.
Hey, that's cool. You don't know
like, how those are the moments, man, that the ghost and stuff's bringing back. It's like, awesome. So happy for you. I really am, but I would have liked to have gotten it too.
Absolutely. But it was a great time. I'm looking forward to playing some of the other raid activities with the perks, to see how they play and try to get some more rewards. I still got to outfit my all 3 of my guardians in the raid Lair armors, so I still got more to collect. But it was a really good time. Besides that, man, playing Fortnite with some of the buds, having a good time in that, getting those victory royales. I was telling you before the show, I picked up a game for my Switch called Golf Story. That's a really fun game just to pick up when you got a few minutes, and it's kind of like a little arcade golf simulator with a RPG built in. So it's been a lot of fun just tinkering around with different stuff this week, playing this and that, and just whenever I have time, the usual.
Very cool. Yeah. Yep. You got that Switch now.
Yep.
You can
like
fit in just little nuggets of gaming here and
there.
One
of my buddies picked one up this week, and we've been telling him, like, man, you got to get one. He's like, no, but I got this Wii U, And he finally got it. He's like, dude, I don't know why I waited so long to get this. Like, it is so awesome. He's like, I'm going to trade in my Wii U and all the stuff tomorrow. Like, it's a pretty cool console.
Right now. It is very cool. It is. We've talked about it. We got to be careful. It turn into a Switch reset.
I know. But yeah, that was my reset, man. Why don't we do some Dirt Fam discourse?
Let's do it.
Email. You want to read this email?
Yeah. We got Sir B. Leslie. He emailed us a few episodes ago and let us know his feelings on Destiny 2 at that moment. We asked him to keep us in the loop with his experience as they keep adding these different layers to the game, these updates. So he did. So here we go. He says, "Hi. A few weeks ago, you read out my email and I sent expressing my dismay at the current state of Destiny. After reading my message out, you said that you want me to give an update on what I think in light of the fixes. Here it is. Basically, not much has changed. Although I was playing into January to level up all my characters to 335, once I did that, I still felt like there wasn't much else to do. Since I put down Destiny 2, I have been playing Assassin's Creed Origins. Let me just say for the record that I have sunk in about 60 hours already, and half that has been doing something that Destiny 2 seems to have neglected. That is, the chance to wander and access random encounters. There is also the fact that activities such as raiding forts, completing the weekly challenge for big rewards, seem tailored to my loot and progression-based mind. But to boil it down to its essence, Assassin's Creed Origins is fun. I don't know why D2 isn't scratching that itch for me, but I want the fun of exploring Mars and the Dreadnought again. I think that although some good changes are on the way in, I am going to wait until May to come back, as I hope that problems are starting to be addressed and hopefully it is fun again. I am not saying that Destiny 2 is dead in the water, but it just seems to have made so many missteps that I am starting to regret buying my collector's edition. I would have left a speak pipe for you guys, but I have been battling a cold for the past 2 weeks, and I sound like Callus when I am speaking at the moment. That's all right, man. We appreciate it. On a brighter note, because I have not been playing as much, I have been spending time getting back to playing the guitar, and I'm getting quite good. Maybe I can compose a Destiny song just for laughs. Anyway, I am still listening to the show, and I salute you for still providing high-quality coverage of Destiny for our beloved community. Best wishes, Sir B. Leslie. Thank you, sir. We hope you get to feeling better soon.
Yeah, thanks for that email. It's good to hear how you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of players, maybe putting the game down for a little while and playing other stuff. Assassin's Creed Origins, super fun game. And he touches on a great point, like how that game allows you to explore and find stuff as you go. And that was something that was really fun when The Taken King came out, that I hope that they bring back to the game. Just that I wouldn't say like RPG element. It's almost like an open world type element. That, man, I still remember like for weeks after The Taken King coming out, just like exploring all the secrets and finding all the calcified fragments from the Dreadnought was really fun. That'd be great to see.
There's
that
just a lot of depth there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it is important, you know, Sir B. Leslie, he was a hardcore Destiny 1 player. And for him to be at this point, you know, that's what they're striving to recover from, because the challenge now is for them to implement all this stuff into the game that we're seeing now and extremely excited about. That is one challenge, but the other challenge is to get people like Sir B back into the game, logging back into it. Something's got to bring him back. And, you know, as he said in there, he's going to wait till expansion 2. And I think it's very important, that development roadmap. You know, we see a lot of things being implemented before or by when they plan to release that second expansion. And it is a very big deal that they have a lot of this stuff in place by the time it drops, because that's going to be the pushing point.
Well, and they have a great opportunity. Like I've been seeing a lot of players and content creators that are taking a step back, and they're saying, look, I'm going to wait until May and like let them get this stuff in place, and I'm going to look forward to that. And they have a great opportunity by having such a huge base of players that have already paid for that expansion, that if they can deliver on a lot of items that the community wants, when that drops, it will do so much for the game.
Yes.
And they'll be really primed for whatever they're going to deliver in the fall.
Right. I mean, notice we're getting the sandbox changes in March.
Right.
You know, so they'll have time to get feedback on that. They seem to be pretty substantial changes. So, I mean, when we're sitting here talking about it out loud here, it seems like they know what they're doing.
I think it's just their war to lose. It's their game to lose. They don't have any better opportunity than where they are now. You know.
Right. And it appears as though they've got themselves on a path to have all this in place by expansion 2. You know, and then we've gotten pretty much confirmation that the fall expansion. So
exciting.
By fall, a lot of things could be in place and a lot of people could be back to the game. So keep updating us, Mr. Leslie.
All right. Shout outs to Dirtfan patrons. We've got Django H, new Dirtfan patron. Thank you.
Yes.
For your patronage. If you don't know what Dirtfan patrons are, go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset, where you can support us with as little as $1 a month pledge. It goes towards the production budget of the show. And, you get a few rewards. You get a shout out on the podcast. You get your gamer tag on our website and an invitation to our specific Patreon Discord channel just for our patrons, where you get to hang out with other patrons and ask us questions and feedback and all that fun stuff about the show. So we appreciate all of our support and continued supporters of the show. It means a lot to us.
Very much. Just a reminder, check your Patreon messages, guys. When you become a patron, we send you a message just to confirm your gamer tag, because we want to throw it up on the website for you, like Cyborg mentioned. Yeah, so be sure to check those.
We need that info.
Yeah. It's that you guys are pending. We need that gamer tag. We just want to be certain we get it right.
Don't you want rewards and recognition?
Come on. Yes. You know what? And I will say, man, when we go out there and we look at the list of patrons and the donations that happen every month, the support and the stuff you guys provide to us, just because you're that nice. Cyborg already said it. It means a lot, just to see it month in and month out, and helping us produce this show and do stuff for the community. It's a wonderful thing.
And worth mentioning,
thanks so much.
If you're not into the monthly support thing, we do have a PayPal link on our website. If you want to give a one-time tip to the show, you can do that. We have many people that take that option. You want to just drop $5 or whatever you like, go to our website and there's a PayPal link for you to do that as well. Boom. All right, man.
There it is.
Great to be here again with you this week. Looking forward to our Crimson Dance reset.
I guess if we want to play together, I have to be on PC. I haven't logged in my PC character.
I haven't either. Yeah, he's way behind.
I've been focusing on the
maybe
PS4.
If we get time,
finally,
we'll
I was like, I gotta focus on one platform. Just to keep myself able. Yep. So yeah, let's try to do it, dude.
All right, man. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @TheArrowKnight, and on Twitch and YouTube, it's ArrowKnights. What about you, buddy?
Awesome. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Twitch. And then finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter and on the World Wide Web at www.destinyresetpodcast.com. That's your source for all things DRP. Don't forget, we also have a Discord community. If you'd like to chat with other Guardians or other people in our community, you can do so and join the server. It's discord.gg/Destiny Reset. If you love Destiny as much as we do, you'll be in the right place.
Definitely, of course. Got another iTunes review. We got one last week. No written, but we got a 5 out of 5. Guardian, you know who you are. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I forgot to mention, you can email us if you've got DerpFam discourse or questions, concerns, comments. DestinyResetPodcast@gmail.com.
There you
Send
go.
us the mails.
Send it. Speak pipes, email. Let us know your thoughts.
Yep.
We were talking about Nightfalls way earlier in the show, and what made Destiny 1 Nightfall is what we grind at Reset. Tell us what you think. Why? What did we do that for?
Good idea.
At Destiny Reset. Or email us.
All right.
All right, man.
All right, buddy.
Have a good morning.
Have a good Crimson Day.
Yeah, you as well. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny 2, and take care, Guardians.